Another day, another crypto project promising the moon and the stars and everything in between. And yet another carbon copy of a scam that didn't work out in the past about a million other times, but hopefully people have learned their lesson on this one before they jump in. Now, make sure you watch this video before you think about grabbing any of the worldwide token. And honestly, I can't blame you for being skeptical, but I can blame you for not doing your own due diligence. So don't do that. I do have to admit that worldwide token is a strange project, that's for sure, with strange founders and a strange business model. And there are a few things about it that I want to bring to your attention. Guys and gals, there are many crypto projects out there, and it can be very hard to separate the legitimate ones from the scams. But in this video and on this channel, I am going to, and I do show you, what I have been able to observe about this project and others, and bring some serious red flags about this one and its founder to the light. So I promise, you're not gonna wanna miss this. But before I reveal what all I found, I'm gonna need you, the 65% of people that aren't subscribed, to do your part and make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, boom! Bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Now, let's get into exactly why I wouldn't touch worldwide token with a 10-foot pole and blame it on my buddy Devin. At its core, worldwide token is a rebasing and revenue sharing protocol. Let me break that down for you. Rebasing is a process where the total supply of a token is adjusted based on its price. So if the price of a token goes up, the supply will decrease, and if the price goes down, the supply will increase. This is meant to help stabilize the price of the token and prevent extreme volatility. Think Titano, Sphere, and every other rebasing disaster like SAFUU. Weird comparison incoming. And hopefully you learned your lessons on those so you don't have to learn it on this one. But guess what? This has never, ever worked out in the past. Name me one rebasing protocol that is actually doing well. So do you honestly think that this Goomba is the mastermind that has finally figured it all out? Definitely not. But honestly, revenue sharing, on the other hand, is a model where a portion of the revenue generated by a project is distributed to token holders. In the case of worldwide token, they claim to distribute 5% of all transaction fees to the token holders. Okay, doesn't sound like a lot, but we'll go with it. Now, I'm about to tell you exactly why you should stay away from this poo coin rebasing protocol from Brian Legend's right-hand lapdog, Daniel Prado. But before we do, I want to talk about something that's actually legitimate and go back to that revenue sharing model. There are two projects in this space that have revenue sharing models that are actually legitimate: Wolfer Finance and PreSend. Wolfer Finance is a master and validator noding company that provides blockchain infrastructure to all the blockchains that you've already heard of, the Ethereums, Avalanches, FTMs, and Fluxes of the world. We also have a potential mining arm coming out in the future, and you will have the ability to invest in Wolfer Finance through a regulated crowdfunding security offering that we are bringing via Akamona.com that is fully compliant and approved by the SEC, that you can invest in crypto and you can hold your shares in our company in your cryptocurrency wallet. And guess what we do? A 50% of our net income share of all of our profits to our token holders. Not 5%, 50. So if you want something that's actually going to be here for a while and not just plummet into oblivion, look no further than Wolfer Finance. And here's another bullish thing about Wolfer Finance. We own 10% equity in a revolutionary wallet transaction security software called PreSend.io. PreSend stops cross-chain transaction losses from happening and has a pending patent on that process. Think of sending USDC from a Polygon wallet to an Ethereum wallet. You potentially just lost all of your money. Or think about sending Binance coin from your wallet to Coinbase's exchange. You definitely just lost all of your Binance coin. But with PreSend, that does not exist anymore. And we will be attempting to license it out to the largest players in the game. The Braves, Operas, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Ledgers, Trezors, the Coinbases, Krakens, Crypto.coms, KuCoins, Binances of the world. And we also do a revenue share that is much higher than the 5% that these Goombas are quoting you. And it will also be bringing a regulated crowdfunding offering fully compliant and regulated by the SEC in the coming weeks. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you follow the channel and make sure that you pay attention for when we open those CFs in the future. Now, back to worldwide token and its terrible tokenomics. So, what does the revenue sharing shtick for Worldwide Token actually mean for investors? Well, it means that if the project is successful and generates a lot of revenue, that token holders can potentially see some very significant returns. There's 10 million tokens, and only 54,000 of them are set for Launchpad allocation. What a joke. Another joke? An almost 16% sell tax, a 4.08% buy tax, and a 2% transfer tax. They made it a 4.08% buy tax so that it seemed very calculated. But does this guy look like a doctorate of mathematics to you, cruising around in his car in New Jersey? No. They say it's not mintable, okay? I'd check the contract on that, but it is burnable, so we will see, because we've heard that before about all of the tokens. However, it's important to keep in mind that there are no guarantees in the crypto world, and the potential for high returns also comes with a high level of risk. Now, let's talk about some of the claims that Worldwide Token makes on their website and on their social medias. One of the most eye-catching claims is their APR/APY, which they say can range from 57 to 77%, rebasing every 15 minutes. Sounds exactly like Titano and every other SAFUU type rebasing token. What's wrong, guys? Brian Legend train is over, so you had to copy and paste what he did to try and salvage some income? Stick to your day job, Daniel. You're probably better at it. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty unbelievable to me. And unfortunately, when I dug a little deeper, I wasn't able to find much information to back up these claims other than the fact that it will be rebasing every 15 minutes. Weird. And go try and buy your milk and cookies and your eggs at the end of the week with Worldwide Token and see how that works out for you. And don't try to argue but they just print the US dollar anytime they want to. Yeah, the only difference is I can go and buy my milk and eggs and cookies every week with a US dollar, but I can't buy it with Worldwide Token. So I stick by my coin argument. Now, the white paper is fairly vague when it comes to revenue projections. Surprise, surprise, I know. And there isn't a ton of information available about the team behind the project other than the main founder. So that lack of transparency is definitely a red flag, and it makes me wonder, is Worldwide Token just another pretty project trying to capitalize on the hype around crypto? And are they just trying to capitalize on the rug pull and the failed projects and promises and potentially outright frauds and scams of Brian Legend, and then preying upon his audience that he curated, but now trying to come in, Daniel Prado, as the white knight that's here to save everybody and create an actual SAFUU that works? If it hasn't worked for about 3 dozen other projects, what makes you think this guy is going to be the one that gets it done? Just saying. But let's be real, it's Daniel Prado, his wife, for some reason, and then some YouTuber with 1.6K subs that literally no one's ever heard of except for probably the SAFUU community. Then guess what they did? Got videos with all the previous SAFUU lapdogs that turned on Brian Legend and are just blind, shilling, useful idiots that are jumping on the next train hoping to regain some clout and money since the gravy train's over because Bry Guy stepped down and ran off with all the money. Just ya map. Prado himself, the Greek DeFi guru, all the usual suspects. I rest my case. And guess what they built in that they will blindly shill you? A 0.25% guaranteed for life auto rebasing referral. So they can always make money. That's why there's no team tokens. So we're told. Oh, and guess what? There are 4 Vulcan chain nodes. You know, Brian Legend's old project that pivoted from SAFUU X into that because SAFUU X failed, that he stepped down from, and that they're saying earns 9 different streams of income. Because that's how nodes work. I would know. I own a masternoding company that actually masternodes and validator nodes legit blockchains like AVAX, Ethereum, FTM, and Flux. Weird. Spoiler alert. I'm being sarcastic. That's not how nodes work. You get paid the fees from the blockchains. That is it. That is all. Everything else is a ruse. Then they have these events that cost you $1 in WorldCoin token, and they will enter you into a chance to win goodies on a bunch of real blockchains with real coins and tokens like Bitcoin, Tether, Link, Litecoin, Ethereum, USDC, etc. Oh, And they didn't forget about Brian's claims for a blockchain. So they are promising one of their own, the Nick Kalyani blockchain. That's Brian Legend's Vulcan chain, for anyone that didn't read between the lines on that. Another thing that struck me as odd is the fact that Worldwide Token has been promoted by some very questionable YouTubers in the past and present, to say the least. For example, Greek DeFi Guru, a YouTuber who has admitted to getting rugged by multiple projects, including some of the projects that Brian Legend was involved in. Here's your sign. Daniel Prado, the founder, has worked alongside Brian Legend in the past to promote rug pulls such as SAFUU, SAFUU X, SAFUU Go, all of it, and was literally sitting there at their race car event wearing all this SAFUU gear, kicking it hard with Brian Legend before he essentially left and rugged everyone. So I don't think that it's a far stretch of the mind to say that this doesn't exactly inspire confidence in the project's legitimacy. Now let's talk about a little bit further who's behind the token. As I mentioned earlier, there isn't a ton of information available about the individual team members, which is definitely a cause for concern. It's always important to know who you're investing in and what their track record is. That being said, Daniel Prado does have a fairly active social media presence, and he seems to be fairly transparent about his goals and the progress of the project, but that doesn't mean it's going to work, because we've seen it plummet into oblivion dozens of times before. He's what we would call a useful idiot, thinking that he's going to come in and fix something that's fundamentally wrong with tokenomics and mathematics, even though he can't fix that because it's impossible. After all, math is math, even in Daniel's household. However, given his past involvement with other questionable influencers and projects, it's hard to know whether or not he can actually be trusted. But one thing that I can say is this is literally basically a carbon copy of SAFUU. So go look at the SAFUU chart. That's probably what you're going to see on this. There are also way too many videos of this guy Daniel Prado while he is literally screaming curse words into his camera like an absolute buffoon. Very emotional, very colorful character. And I personally would never invest my money with a guy who's willing to present himself like this in public on one of the largest international social media platforms. There's a time to be theatrical and then there's a time to be professional, and you have to understand that, but I don't think he does. Especially when he's literally riding around in his car, live streaming and painting himself to be out this DeFi guru from SAFUU that got everyone rugged. He can't even be bothered to put his videos out without like multitasking from his day job. So what makes you think that he's all in on this project and that he's actually going to work for the project? Here's your sign. But let's be honest, where does this leave us with Worldwide Token? Honestly, the fact that he made his wife like the co-founder makes me pretty skeptical. The fact that he made another person that's a YouTuber the co-founder, it makes me pretty skeptical as well. And the lack of transparency and the questionable promotion tactics are definitely red flags. And the high APR/APY claims, let's just be real, they're too good to be true. The rebasing and revenue sharing model is a ripe ground for manipulation and at the very least, confusion on part of any investor. If the project is able to generate significant revenue, there is potential for investors to see some returns, but we've seen it a million times over. That doesn't happen. But as with any investment, it's important to do your own due diligence and make an informed decision. Don't just take the project's claims at face value. Don't just take my claims at face value. Go look at the historical records. Go look at the Titanos, the Spheres, the SAFUUs of the world, and see how those compared to this project, tokenomic-wise, community-wise, and then go look at their charts and see where they are today. Dig deeper and try to get a sense of whether or not the team behind the project is actually trustworthy, or if they're just useful idiots blindly shilling you anything until that gravy train runs out, and now they're creating a carbon copy of that exact thing to shill you because their pockets are starting to run dry again. And above all, invest responsibly. Let me know what you think about the Worldwide Token in the comments section. Have you ever heard of Daniel Prado before? Hopefully you haven't. Hopefully you never will. I've been in this space long enough, and I've covered SAFUU and Brian Legend enough to know that that name, Daniel Prado, is bad news for any project. I can't wait to see what people say in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be good, and I'm sure there's going to be bad. And we welcome it all, because the point of these videos is to help the audience that I've already built and help these 65% of people that watch my videos that aren't subscribed from having bad things happen to them and their portfolios in the future. But with that being said, if you like content like this, obviously, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Boom! Bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for showing up to this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, everyone.